welcome to this week's video. For this week, I'm going to be doing another edition of Speed Dating My TBR. This is, I'm just grabbing the books. This is episode 4, where I take a few books from my TBR mountain there and give them about 10 pages or to the first chapter or prologue, whichever comes first, and I decide if I'm interested in continuing on with the book or if it'll be going to a better home. So there's my stack. We're going to be reading 4 books this video, and yeah, so let's get started. Sorry, my hair's still a little wet because I just took a shower. We are going to be starting with Sandra Brown's Thursday's Child. Now, this book sounds familiar to me, and I think I might have read it years ago. But let's do the back blurb. First, let's go get some water because I'm thirsty. Because I know if I'm like talking a lot that my voice is going to get all... Okay, so I'm going to read the blurb for you, and then I'm going to read the first line. This is Sandra Brown's Thursday's Child. Allison Lehman, L-E-A-M-O-N, knew that pretending to be her identical twin sister was a bad idea. For although the two redheads looked exactly alike, they couldn't be more different. How could a no-nonsense scientist like Allison possibly fool anyone into thinking that she was the bubbly, vivacious Anne? Trading her sensible shoes for strappy sandals, her eyeglasses for contacts, and her lab smock for a chiffon dress, Allison was determined to try her best. Her first challenge was a dinner date with Anne's fiancé, Davis. But what Anne didn't expect was the presence of Davis's best friend. Allison was far too logical to believe in love at first sight, but there was nothing logical about the way she was responding to Spencer Raft. The dark-haired, blue-eyed mystery man had an assurance that Allison found positively maddening, and by the end of the evening she couldn't help feeling that Spencer had been attracted to a carefully constructed illusion. She was certain that the handsome adventurer wouldn't give her a second look if he knew her as she really was. But Spencer Raft was a man of many talents, and seeing below the surface of things was one of them. He sensed the flesh-and-blood woman beneath the elaborate charade, and after years of wandering the world in search of excitement, he knew he had finally found what he had been looking for. But first, this incurable romantic had to convince an tractable skeptic that there was more to love than what she could find in a laboratory. And what better way than to propose a passionate experiment of his own, on board his yacht. Spencer and Allison would fulfill their wildest fantasies and deepest desires, but when their blissful idyll was over, would it all prove to be no more than a pleasant interlude or the real thing? Now, I really like early Sandra Brown, like her when she was like more romance focused. She sort of drifted off now into like romantic suspense / thrillers, and that's not really like not really so much into that, though there are a few exceptions. And so yeah, let's start and see. Let's start with this is published in 1985. The first line is, "Have you lost your mind?" Okay. I'm in. She's... Let me just mark that. So, Allison wants to get a boob job. And she wants to, but she doesn't want to tell Davis, her boyfriend slash fiance? Fiance or boyfriend? Fiance, yeah. So, yeah, no, yeah. Anne is the one who, Annie, I guess, wants to get a boob job. But she doesn't want to tell her fiance Davis that she's getting a boob job. She wants to surprise him. So she's decided that she's going to go off for a few days, have the operation, and be like there at the clinic. And that's why she wants her twin sister Allison, to cover for her and pretend to be her for those few days that she's off at the clinic. That's the premise. And yeah, it is it's very like entertaining, and like just Anne is Allison. Yeah, Allison is this like scientist, and she's very not Annie. Annie is like vivacious and likes to dress up and likes to just wear high heels. And so the first time that Allison meets Davis, she's walking in these high heels that she doesn't usually use and falls flat on her face. And Davis and his best friend Spencer go to meet her at the airport, and she falls flat on her face in front of them. And it's very entertaining, I guess is the word. But yeah, this one's going back. This one's going back on my TBR shelf. Me. Next we have Bertrand Small's This Heart of Mine. Heart of Mine. Sweeping from the glittering court of Elizabeth I to the wild moors of Scotland to the exotic realm of the Sultan of India, here's an all-new epic adventure in the magnificent saga of Skye O'Malley. Embarking on a dangerous secret mission for Queen Elizabeth, beautiful, indomitable Skye O'Malley and her noble husband Ammon de Marishku must leave behind their lovely 15-year-old daughter Velvet. They have no fears for the safety of their youngest child, having entrusted her to her uncle's care. But Velvet is soon faced with trouble that no one could have anticipated, as she learns that the stranger to whom she was betrothed at the age of 5 will soon be arriving in England to claim her hand in marriage. Desperate to escape her fate, Velvet throws herself on the mercy of her godmother, Queen Elizabeth, winning from her the coveted position of maid of honor at the court and gaining the protection of her royal majesty. But Alex Gordon, Earl of Brockcarron, will not be easily evaded, and together with his dearest friend, Velvet's brother Robin, Alex hatches a plan to win her heart. Since Velvet did not even know her betrothed's name, Alex proceeds to court her as any other suitor. Indeed, Velvet cannot resist his charm, but when she learns of the deception, she is furious. Alex is sure of Velvet's love and knows that it is only her stubbornness and pride that stands between them, so he carries her off to Scotland and marries her. Returning to England at Elizabeth's angry command, Velvet and Alex are joined in a proper court wedding and seem destined for a life of passionate bliss, till an affair of honor leaves Alex dying and sends a grief-stricken Velvet to sea in a desperate attempt to find her parents. Taken prisoner by enemies of the Queen, Velvet is sent as a gift from her Portuguese captors to the Indian Sultan Akbar, a gentle, handsome man who makes Velvet his bride and teaches her unforgettable lessons in the art of love. She has no idea that her family is frantic and planning to rescue her from what she has come to believe is the only passion that will ever come close to the one she shared with Alex. Now, I'm just a little. It just caught me off guard that she's betrothed, that she's been betrothed since the age of 5. And I find that odd because, like, I haven't read the Sky O'Malley books, but I get the impression that Sky O'Malley becomes this wild woman who like follows her passions and can never be tamed and all this stuff. And I guess, yeah, she marries this guy Adam, and I just find it a little that she would have her daughter be betrothed from the age of 5 instead of letting her daughter grow up and, find love herself. That just kind of caught me off guard. The first line, Christ's bloody bones. Okay. So I really liked the first the first scene between. It starts off with actually Sky O'Malley um, and the Queen, and them sort of facing off. And I really liked that first bit. The Queen wants a favor from her, and apparently she and Sky have this history. That is like, I don't think they're enemies necessarily, but the Queen has put Sky through some shit, um, and now she wants a favor from Sky, and I liked that first sort of like going head to head thing, and then it got a little politicky and trade route things, and that I found myself hard to sort of focus on. And so the Queen wants her to go somewhere, and she sort of wants to go because she kind of like misses the adventure of like going to sea. But at the same time, she doesn't want to go because she likes the sort of life that she's had with like her daughter and her husband and raising their children. Who it was funny because she was talking about like, you know this child and how they have children now, and like she's basically a grandmother now, even though she's like 40, only 40 something. um and then she talks about how that Velvet is the only child that she's had with this husband, with Adam. And I was like, okay. I think I remember that right. That again, I have not read the Sky O'Malley books, but I know that she goes through some men, and yeah. So I think I like her relationship with her husband very much, um, and I like her sort of manner, um, but just I think I'll be like I will keep going. I will keep going with this. I usually like it when the point of view that we get is actually the heroine's and like not the heroine's mother. But oh, okay, okay, I'll go on with it. Like, yeah, I'll. Like, this is just like the first bit, the prologue, I believe that was. Yeah, this was just the prologue, and I I want to continue, but I think I'll be skimming a lot of the politics bit. Yeah, so it's going back. It's going back. So let me get a drink of water. Next we have The Girl in the Red Coat by Kate Hamer. Hammer? Like Hammer, we know has two M's, but it's either Kate Hamer or Hammer. And the back blurb. Carmel, that name. Carmel Wakeford becomes separated from her mother at a local children's festival and is found by a man who claims to be her estranged grandfather. He tells her that her mother has had an accident and that she's to live with him for now. As days become weeks with her new family, Carmel realizes that this man believes she has a special gift. She's potentially a savior. While her mother desperately tries to find her, Carmel is sent on an extraordinary journey, one that will make her question who she is and who she might become. Oh my. The first line reads, I dream about Carmel often. In my dreams, she's always walking backwards. That was 2 lines, but somehow I thought it was 1 sentence, but nope. Alright, so let's get into it. Oh my. So, definitely drawn in. The writing style is beautiful. Like, yeah. And when we start off, we're in the mother's point of view, and her daughter is already missing, and it's been a while, and it's there's like, and she's remembering like little like bits and pieces of like taking her daughter to school and all that, and even like, yeah, you get the vibe that there's something about Carmel. There's something about that little girl that's a little, comes off a little otherworldly. And yeah, there's this one point where a friend of hers comes after like the daughter's already been missing for a while, and this friend of hers comes and says, oh, I would have reacted this way to that friend as well, but she says to her, oh, that Carmel always sort of seemed to have a direct line with God and is probably right now sitting at the right hand of the Father. Like, did she say that to, was that an attempt to comfort the mother? Because you're basically telling the mother that her daughter that is missing is most likely dead. So I would have reacted the way the mother did and kicked her the hell out of my house. But yeah, so definitely interested in continuing on with this one. The writing style is really, really pretty and immersive. Yeah, so definitely continue on, with that. We're doing good. We're doing good this episode, unless this one breaks the streak. But so far we're doing good. More good this episode than we did last episode. I think the last episode I only kept one. This one we're keeping on all three so far, maybe four. Let's start with Truths I Never Told You by Kelly Rimmer. And yeah, let's read the back blurb from that first. Let me take a drink. With her father recently moved to a care facility for his worsening dementia, Beth Walsh volunteers to clear out the family home and is surprised to discover the door to her childhood playroom padlocked. She's even more shocked at what's behind it: a hoarder's mess of her father's paintings, mounds of discarded papers, and miscellaneous junk in the otherwise fastidiously tidy house. As she picks through the clutter, she finds a loose journal entry in what appears to be her late mother's handwriting. Beth and her siblings grew up believing that their mother died in a car accident when they were little more than toddlers, but this note suggests something much darker. Beth soon pieces together a disturbing portrait of a woman suffering from postpartum depression and a husband who bears little resemblance to the loving father Beth and her siblings know. With a newborn of her own and struggling with motherhood, Beth finds there may be more tying her and her mother together than she ever suspected. It's very interesting. First line is from a letter, I believe. Grace, September 14th, 1957. I believe Grace is the mother, maybe? Or is it maybe it's a diary. It's the journal entry that Beth finds. So this is the first line. September 14th, 1957. I am alone in a crowded family these days, and that's the worst feeling I've ever experienced. Ooh. So right away, this first journal, this one journal entry is definitely, the mother is definitely having a really bad episode of a postpartum depression, and she's waiting for her husband to come home because she's afraid that if it's just her alone with the children, she might do something. She might harm them in some way. So she's waiting desperately for her husband to come home. And yeah, it's wow. Okay. Eehee. Very, very, yeah. This seems like it's going to be a hard book to read, but a powerful book. I don't have children, So but I have dealt with depression, and I'm very interested in continuing and like seeing like what happens sort of in the story, but I'm also kind of worried that it might affect me negatively. um, so yeah, I'm drawn in. I'm definitely drawn in. So I'll continue. I'll continue with it because I want to see. I want to read what happens. I I might regret it, but I want to see what happens. So yeah, that was a good batch. All four are going back. So um, I think I am most excited about continuing on with Sandra Brown's Thursday's Child, because that seems like it's going to be the most fun book. Yeah, so that is going to be it for this week's video. Have you read any of these books? What did you enjoy them? Um, yeah, I guess that's, yeah, just let me know if you enjoyed them. Which one should I read first? Um, Based on the back blurbs, which one are you most interested in my thoughts on reading first? Um, yeah, and just follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie. Subscribe if you'd like to, that would be awesome. And you'll get like more of these sort of episodes of Speed Dating My TBR. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!